Alright, so it is 5 p.m. Eastern, aka 6:30 where I am, aka like basically midnight where Alessandro is. So we're going international, but welcome to the Hallowstream, and we got some spooky reveals ready for you guys today. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you enjoy playing a bit of Monster Crown on our CRT TV and some cool guests. 11 p.m. 11 p.m. for Alessandro. So let's play some Monster Crown. Why don't we? I prepared a save file, ready to take on the world. That is a real mustache, yeah. So let's see. Scan lines or no scan lines? How authentic do we want it? You guys let me know. This mustache is making me thirsty. No scan lines. Scan lines. We need a tiebreaker. Scan lines for dark or spook. At the resolution in the stream, the scan lines don't look quite as good as they look when you're playing the game as an independent application. So yeah, I think I'll leave the scan lines off for the stream, but when you guys play it, when we expand to the closed beta, I think you're going to want to try scan lines, because like up close and personal looks great. Oh, it just turned day, so scan lines are a little bit more approachable, but yeah, it's scan lines look best when you are at the native resolution, so we'll leave them off for now. Could you put an announcement that the stream has started in the Discord? You betcha I can. I'm gonna do that just for you, buddy. Inky X word. Alright, the message finally popped up. So all of our guests today are going to get asked what their favorite Halloween treat is and what their favorite Halloween monster is. And they don't win extra points for saying that their favorite monster is a Monster Crown monster. They're just called suck-ups, and we all laugh at them. Thanks for the compliments, guys, on the new graphics. We got the two guys responsible on this stream tonight. Great to have you back, Hunterism. Your name's familiar to me for sure. Alright, so what do we got here in the old inventory? We got normal pack and a Book of the Dead. This is what you're all here for. The Book of the Dead. And this is the new UI. We got some new UI in here. Stuff's looking a little slicker, as slick as my mustache and my visage here today. We only got one because we gotta find more. We gotta find more. So the Book of the Dead will not be this easy to find, and is the second most powerful transformation item out there. It won't always be this easy to find. I've replaced it with a different items show up rate, appearance rate, just for this stream. So don't expect that you're going to come across your Book of the Dead this easy. Is there a difference between Halloween monsters and other monsters? Yeah, Halloween monsters are like werewolves, vampires, Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster, if you're like going to be pedantic. A witch is a monster. In this context, it is a demon. And apparently, if you go to any Halloween store, you can see that nurses and maids are also Halloween monsters. Baby Charmander, you ain't missed a thing. Milky Way, monster lichen. Okay. Good taste, demon. I feel like I'm choking on mustache here. Alright, so, the first monster actually, you know what? This is a boring speed. We're gonna run. We're gonna run around today, and we got Stega here with us. Stega is a monster I really like, that this new sprite is awesome for by Eric's. So we're gonna fly somewhere where we can get K-Knight, because that's the first monster we're gonna transform tonight out of, let's see, we're doing 4 transformations, 4 new reveals, and K-Knight will be the first of 4. Hope we don't get into too many battles. So as you can see, this helpful girl is going to keep you away from danger. What this is in the closed beta, we're going to have not all areas opened up. In the final game, when you play, as soon as you get to this area, the whole world is open up. You can go there. But for the beta, we wanted to restrict things a bit. For areas we're still polishing and see what people think, that sort of thing. So we are going to Dev Super God Mode pass her in just a moment. Yeah, there's a glitch where if you run, when you run, it starts to, it sets your monster speed to your speed, so it keeps up with you, but sometimes there's a glitch where it ends up a little bit faster, so you get that stagger, that jump, so yeah, it's, that's definitely not Eric's fault, and that's something we're working on. Let's wreck this guy. Relentless. Well, we better not use a will move against that one. Alright, so sorry Hooper sister, but we in Devland do not obey your whims. What's this guy? Oh shit. Well, we're gonna come back for one of these later, because we're gonna do something cool with this guy. Missed a K-Knight. Gotta find a K-Knight. This is the base of Raptor Mountain where a K-Knight like to hang out with the Dragosbane. Alright. Let's see. Normal pact. We got our K-Knight. Alright. So let's use the Book of the Dead on our bro here. Now this is pretty spooky. If there are any children watching, cover their eyes, because this is just not safe for life territory, what's about to happen here. This is Book of the Dead K-Knight. And the nature of this transformation is the book contains the souls of monsters that have been killed and are beyond the grave. It's the production of some dark magic, and it actually stains the monster's soul. So if you take this monster and you breed it, you're going to find the offspring that have its body type, even the variants, have this purple stain of magic behind them that represents their soul is eternally darkened by this magic. So, you should know that there's consequences to these transformations. Alright, so before we go any further, we're all out of Book of the Dead, so we're going to give my buddy Alessandro a call. We will be doing some breeding later, but not with Book of the Dead monsters. There's one monster we're going to show off. Oh, HebeWiki is here. HebeWiki messaged me earlier and said, don't control the volume by turning it down in Volume Manager, because that lowers the volume of the whole stream. She thought I needed the help. So, thank you, HebeWiki, for the tip. Alright, let's call up my dude, Alessandro. Alessandro, I hope you're there. Let's give you a call. Actually, I'm going to give you a video call, because even though other people can't see you, you can gesture to me.
Here we are back.
We're back. Okay, so, guys, tell me, can you hear Alessandro?
Can I give another color? Because fuchsia was not really liked before. Let's just say crimson. Just type crimson if you hear me.
They say they can hear you. Okay, so, Alessandro, let's get some of your art in here. We'll start with the Duchess Garden, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay.
I mean, it's the most recent thing I did for you, so I'm fresh on this one.
Okay, so some of you may have seen this. It's Alessandro's fantastic art of the revamp of the Duchess Garden, and it blows me away. You should. I know you guys didn't get to see much of the Duchess Garden in my design of it, but what Alessandro's put together here is something really special. Using a lot of. He took a lot of the base that I already had for like columns and pillars, and he redid it and just took the whole structure to a new level. I'm really impressed with his work here. It's been a big hit on Twitter. Alessandro, why don't you take a few minutes to introduce yourself, talk about your inspirations, and whatever you'd like to expand on with this art.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it is some kind of strange work schedule for me to... to approach such a problem like redoing tile sets and maps and all the graphics for Monster Crown, because I start from an idea that has already been developed to some point. I mean, I started from this location, which is the Duchess Garden, and I also had some tiles there, like some trees and the columns, as you said, and then I had to just see these elements and think what I could make with them, and what I should also add to the whole tile set to make something new and more compelling for the player to explore. So I was just thinking, there's columns, so there's ruins, and there's also these trees which were really gnarly and full of roots, and I mean, there was some sort of sadness and decadence about the whole tile set. So I was just thinking about my personal experience in gardens and as a set designer, because I don't know if people know there on the chat, but I've been working as a set designer for theater and movies in my recent life. So my approach to game development has changed in the years. So as you can see, I made this place mostly to convey some sort of feeling as I would do for theater or movies. And that feeling was some sort of melancholy, sadness, decadence, gardens. If you have ever been to Italy, you'll know for sure that there are these majestic gardens from like the 17th century, which are in part forests and in part gardens. So you have like columns and benches and place to look at all the vegetation. But then you can also access some woods, some rose gardens. So my idea for this Duchess Garden for Monster Crown was to convey this kind of feeling, which is somehow Italian, for these gardens, which are forests and have this lush vegetation which just covers all the place. And as you can see there, these red spots between the thorns all around are roses. So this is one of my dearest memories when I was a kid, and I used to visit these palaces and these gardens in Tuscany, the place where I live, and I would see these giant bushes of roses. So they seem something giant and impossible to explore, and it was a whole fantasy feeling for me. It seemed like an adventure. I mean, to access these gardens and see these roses and all the vegetation around. So that's mainly how I work with game development and theater and movies. I literally just pick memories from what I think is most compelling and interesting from my point of view, from my nostalgia, from my memories as a kid. And of course, Monster Crown is a game that offers you a nostalgic feeling in its graphics. So I needed to call back my inner kid and my inner children, my childhood, and try to bring you, this was my idea, some of those feelings. So as you can see, let's just go back to the maps we are seeing. You'll see there are different areas, like there's a bench on the western part of the gardens. Then there's like a meadow with the trees and flowers. Then on the southwestern side, you'll see some sort of little labyrinth, because labyrinth are just the the one on the southwestern part. Labyrinths are everywhere in mansions and historical buildings in Italy and all Europe, actually. The fun fact is that labyrinths were video games for people back in the centuries, because of course they had to entertain themselves in their gardens, so they had fountains, ruins, statues, and also labyrinths. Labyrinths was a really popular form of entertainment back in the days, and I mean like in the 17th century. On the other half of the map, on the east, on the southeastern side, you'll see instead something more wild. It is just a garden of thorns and roses, and it's all kind of ruiny, because it's the other side of the garden, and it's the other nature of these gardens. I mean, a labyrinth which is kind of polished, probably there was a gardener here, and on the other side there's just something that is more a forest, a wood, something that you have to explore, that maybe will also hurt you, because it's thorns and they will prick you, basically. So this is, a little idea to make just an area, an environment which is not too big, but offers like different experiences as actual palaces and gardens in Italy and Europe do. I mean, you can also go to the United Kingdom, and there are wonderful gardens there that just have their more wild parts, and then the more architectonic or tidy parts, let's say. Jason, if you could just go north, I'll talk of the pavilion.
You got it. And just while you're transitioning subjects, I just want to tell you some of the comments you've received. Super amazing. Just tell him it's really fucking good, and his experience shines through. And some people commenting on the hedge mazes you mentioned, and people touching on something that I want to say as well, is that you bringing your childhood into this, incorporating your real life nostalgia into your video game nostalgia, and thinking back on things like Duality you show lower in the garden, and the fact that labyrinths used to be kind of the real world version of video games is incredibly inspired. And I'm so happy that you're here today sharing this, because like this stuff needs to be heard, because you're doing amazing stuff.
But yeah, I mean, I know that for sure there are some people in the chat right now which are listening to me. Also, please excuse me for my bad speaking, bad English. I mean, if there's something that isn't clear, just stop me and ask me to explain, to better explain myself. By the way, I mean, the labyrinth thing, I wanted to tell you just because I know there are artists here in this chat, in this live stream tonight, and I'm always checking on Discord's channel for the art section. And I mean, it's important to get inspiration from lots of places. I mean, real life experience are fine, but also cultural studies are fine. I come from set design studies, so we used to study gardens and set design back in the days when there wasn't movies and theater was a private thing. There also were gardens which were a form of entertainment for people. So I tried to make the better of this knowledge. So I wanted tonight to tell these artists how art is like a cauldron. I mean, you just get every ingredient possible and then you put it together. And there's no thing such as video games are lesser art, so you just cannot think of beautiful palaces or beautiful mainstream art. I mean, I constantly look at major art, at historical and classical art, to make pixel art, which seems like, I mean, what does Michelangelo has to do with this place? Michelangelo also designed gardens. I mean, so when you designed a garden, you were basically making environment design in its purest form. I mean, it's not digital art, but it is environment art. You are just changing the environments, and that's the most compelling thing for me as an environment designer, because you get to change your spaces, change your perception of reality by offering something new, which is deeply linked to our experience. So this is, first of all, this is fun. I mean, guys, you have no idea probably how much fun I'm having with these kind of works and maps, and Jason basically, because he's passionate and kind and a really great boss, I have to say, because it's not always like that in art, working with art. So it's just my personal joy and feeling to just convey something which is also part of my experience. I wouldn't probably be doing that for another project, because I mean, this project speaks to me on a graphical level, because yes, I've grown up now, but I used to play lots of games for the Game Boy when I was younger, and for the SNES, the Super Nintendo, and those are parts of my experience as well as gardens. So everything comes together, and I mean, that's part of the result. That's not just the only result. Of course, we have more areas to show. Jason, if you could please show the map I sent you before with the light effects, so I can tell them the next step in development.
Oh, sure, yes, the Gardens Magic one, I think, is the one you're interested in. Is this the one that you wanted to focus on?
Yeah.
Okay, and do you want me to start on top or bottom?
On top, yes, the pavilion, like before.
Okay, because and just before you get started, don't mean to interrupt, I just wanted to say that everyone is saying you have great English in the chat. I agree, you do an excellent job with English, so don't worry about that a bit. And they're really loving you. And a quick shout out to Coral Dev, who I'm super hype has joined us. Look up that guy later. because he is.
I know him. I know him. We have chatted a bit some days ago.
Oh, you know him too?
Yes, I'm in love with his project. I even played Coral. I played the I've seen the screenshots. I haven't played it because I have no way of playing it on my laptop as of now. I won't tell more about that. But I know his work, and I'm just impressed at how he's doing. And I sometimes go on 4chan and the development, which is the only topic I usually check, because I'm not really at ease with 4chan, generally speaking, but I really like the channel for Essential and Hackroaming, because it's a font of inspiration for me. I get inspiration from there too. At least I get the feeling of going on and doing my stuff by seeing the wonderful stuff that is usually being posted here. I'm especially a fan of retro graphics. Like when I see a screenshots or an environment, a map done in Pokemon Gold, Silver, or Crystal graphics, I'm just flabbergasted. I'm just in love with this. It's an emotion. Like when the 1 year ago, I think, the beta ROM from Pokemon Gold and Silver were found and released, and I literally spent like 3 or 4 days analyzing the environment there, and I almost felt sad about the final game not having these environments. Just to say how much I like beta and hack ROMs, and this is part of my culture too. I used to do these things when I was younger. Now I just do something different for a living. But it's also this long trip was just to say that I really appreciate Coral Dev being here and what he is doing right now. So it's just great. It's great for me to have him here. By the way, back to the map, or else this live stream will just go on for hours. I just tend to lose myself while speaking.
You're passionate, no worries.
Yeah, and this, as you may have noticed, the map really changed with us. A layer. It's just a layer of light effects. We have yet to implement this in the game, but it's. I think we'll try our best for that.
Absolutely.
But the other thing I wanted to tell all the artists here is how my workflow, my schedule with environments and tile set is not really based on steps like someone will tell you in a tutorial maybe. It's more like of a dialogue between the phases of making an environment, because as I was saying before to Jason, I like to change continuously colors and shapes. It's really important for me to make maps just in order to see if colors work, because if you could see the tile set, the basic tile set for this map, you'll notice that basically the tile set would work on his own. There was no need of changing colors and shapes and stuff. But once you get to realize an environment and a place, things start to dialogue with each other. So tile sets used in an environment actually demand for different colors or different values, so you just do not know how many changes, how the environment will evolve. So you just have to make maps, then go back to the tile set, change colors, change tile sets, then go and map again. And generally speaking, the last step in this dialogue between development processes is this one. My last touch with the environment is light and final color design. I like to give more light, more effects as a final step when I've just completed everything else. because it is the final moment where I get to set the mood for my environment. I mean, you have seen the map before. I was speaking of melancholy and mystery and exploration, and then I decided that this kind of feeling demanded different colors. So I used the aforementioned magenta here, the fuchsia, as no one is calling that color. But I also used the blue, and I used blue for this kind of mist covering the place. I also changed the rose colors to blue because it was better fitting with the bright yellow of the trees. These are all color changes that I could reach by seeing what the environment was becoming during the process. So it is important for young artists not to be scared of going back and forth with their steps while doing art and while doing maps. There's nothing wrong with going back and changing something. I literally spend hours changing stuff in what I do. As you can see, the central place for this map, anyways, is this pavilion on the back of the garden, which is just surrounded by thorns and roses and vegetation. This is, of course, the centerpiece, the mysterious place. It also has some bright colors, as you may have seen. There's yellow, and then the shadow is not just black, but is a different shade of blue. So everything together, blue, magenta, yellow, green. There are lots of colors here. Actually, it's just 20 colors or something like that. But it's important, I mean, to not be scared of using colors in an expressive way. And for doing so, I have to watch lots of mainstream art and classical art. Also, illustration is a great help for game development. For this piece, I was just looking at colors from another Italian illustrator, which is called Lorenzo Mattotti. I'll just write on the chat. Which is an absolute master of color and uses lots of colors in an expressive way. So, I mean, it's just different art styles, different art departments that are communicating one with each other. So I mean, this is my invitation for all the artists here tonight to just be eclectic. I mean, just don't focus on one thing because you have to do one thing, so you have to do that pillar, and that pillar is an absolute entity. Everything just dialogue with each other elements. So don't be scared of putting things together, change something, discard something else, then go back 2 steps before and just do a completely different palette. Because I literally changed the whole palette, the whole color scheme for my works like 2 or 3 times. This is just the final result. I mean, but it's a long process, and it's not a streamlined process. It's, as I used to say, a dialogue between steps. It's not just step 1, then step 2, then step 3, then step 4, then final step. It's step 1 to step 2 to step 4 to step 3 to step 1, and so on. So I just jump back and forth. It may seem something that is unreasonable and that makes the work more difficult, but at the very end, when you feel at ease with what you're doing, and you feel like you have the control on what you're doing, this is just the best way possible to reach the right feeling of your work, because it's always a discussion with yourself. So I mean, that's how I generally work. It's not easy, it's not fast by any means, but I mean, we are all enjoying the result, and thank you deeply for all the support and esteem um, that you're devolving. I mean, but I mean, yeah, I just work this way, and I humbly invite you to try and think the same way. I mean, the same non-linear way of work. So, well, this was the Duchess Garden, which is one of the locations that I had the most fun working with from the project. Because it's part of my culture, I was saying, and because it made me work in a way that was compelling. I mean, just the colors, changing the scheme, making a whole another place from the I mean the initial one that I received, because the starting map was completely different. I just changed everything. Sorry, Jason. And I mean,
I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive you.
I noticed, maybe too much.
This, no, I think you did excellent, because people say to me that they like the style I had before, that they thought it was a bit more like the kind of first gen Pokemon inspiration. But like, I hear you talk about this, and it reminds me of what I can talk at lengths about my inspirations, about the core game design, and I'll just never be able to bring that to the table with art. And I hear you, and I hear Shad, and I hear Eric's talk about the inspiration you bring to your work, and it's just obvious that you guys belong in that role rather than me. And if I can make it happen, if I can give you guys a place to do this, then that's so much more important to me, and what's important to me in the world, than being able to say that I made all the art in the game. We can toss all that out, we can do it better, as long as we can still get the game out in a reasonable amount of time. Like, I want to give you as much freedom as I can, because this is just beautiful. It's so inspired. You're an inspiration to everyone watching. If I had known that you'd be able to go to this depth, I kind of wish we had to make a dedicated video for our YouTube channel. And maybe when we get a bit further in development and we have another location to show, maybe we can do a short video to put up for people, because this can totally stand on its own, stream aside.
Thank you.
So what was the other one you wanted to show next? I got the castle and the forest.
Yeah, maybe just the castle, because it's quite a fast thing to. I mean, it's not much to say about that, but just a simple thing to show. Yeah, let's go with the castle.
Well, that I tell you, I saw this one, and I'm gonna zoom in on it right now, because this throne room up here, I saw this when you made it, and I was like, sweet Jesus, that is amazing. And so I'm going to let you talk about this and leave it up, and I'm going to post on our Kickstarter real quick that we're live, because I didn't do that, and I want all those people that help back us to be able to hear what you're bringing to this project. So you go on, and I'll do that right now.
Sure, of course. I mean, this is just really a really simple map I threw together to just try the new tileset. Fun fact, actually, lots and lots of this tileset was already there when I started working on the interior graphics. I mean, the throne room, the curtains, the little shelves for books, those were already there. I just tried to improve their general technique, but this was work just that I already found myself to play with. Of course, what I actually added to this style set was the walls, the windows, and some, of course, decorations, such as you may see the four armors at the sides of the throne room. I was discussing with Jason some time ago about the quest line that brings you to the castle, where you present your monsters to the king, and I just thought, okay, this needs a throne room, and the whole castle needs some sort of flamboyant, rich feeling. So what I did again, as I did for the Duchess Garden, was just thinking of my experience while visiting historical places, and actually I've just I wanted to be quite philological with this place, so I gave you this boiserie, which is the wooden panels that just go just follow the line of the wall, which is an ancient way of making and decorating rooms. There's also modern boiserie. I'll write it down. I think there's an English word for that, but I don't know for sure, because in Italy we use the French word, which is again boiserie. But well, I just use that, and then I make some more complex windows with all these little glass parts, and then the armors, and then I try to make just an environment that I would probably be seeing in the real life. Is anything like the bookcases interchangeable? Demon Dog asks. Actually, I'll be helping a bit with dungeon design. Yes, Wayne Scott is probably the translation, I think so. But I have no way to tell you definitely what's happening with these shelves and bookcases. But yeah, it may be something fun to just click on something, and I don't know. It's quite a common thing with JRPGs and RPGs in general to interact with things in your environment. If you could just go to the bottom right, Jason. Yes, okay. Just stay there just a second.
Okay.
I also make the bedroom, which is some sort of lazy recycle of the curtains from the throne room. But yes, you have like this king-sized bed, with all the curtains and drapes and so on. So it was fun to just keep the element like as a more central piece to the place. Then I also make the library, because library are some of the most interesting places you may find in all the structures. As I don't know, we have lots and lots of old beautiful libraries in Europe. Some of the best ones are in Eastern Europe, like in Prague, and it's just by itself, the library is such an interesting and mysterious place. And of course, if you go there, I think that Jason may be interested in putting some flavor text here and there on the shelves. I think there will be something to discover in a library. Library are places where you discover things, so why not discover things about Monster Crown in the library of the castle?
I think it demands it.
Yeah, pretty much. If you could just slide to the left a bit, I'll talk about one of the last environments here for the interiors, which is the cabin. The house. This one house. Just a bit down south.
You got it. Like this.
Okay. Yep. This
right.
one, as you may have seen, I also like to make houses that are small but offer different environments inside. As you may notice, you have an entrance which is with like brick or stone terrain, and there's no wood floor as it is on the right side. So it is a really small piece of environment design, but it has lots of things. And when designing interiors, I like to think of what would NPCs and characters and real people do inside. So of course you'll have the chimney and a cooking place and a table, a small table. You also have a bed. Of course, there's not the bathroom, but maybe somewhere you'll find a bathroom too in Monster Crown. Does the window change shade with time? Yes. The old tile sets for the exterior and the interior had a special hue of purple. I mean, this one you can see that Jason programmed in order to change color according to the light of the day. So, like at night, you'll see houses with the lights on inside, which is a clever little touch that really breathes some life. It sparkles some life in the environments. So, by the way, this was a little collection of interiors that are radically different one from each other, as you can see, because you have wood and stone in this small house, and then you have these luxurious walls and carpets and decoration for the royal palace. I mean, it's all quite obvious. I mean, it's not something original to do for the environments, but it's the right thing to do, in my opinion. I mean, it's clear, it's fun. You just explore things that feel different. This is important for me, especially in interiors, which are a complex environment. Exteriors are always more fun, more compelling, but interiors are more difficult, in my opinion. It's more easy to get boring with interiors, and it's important not to, because you cannot just spend your time on the exterior of a game. There's also something inside that you want to know. I mean, I know it's all quite obvious. What I'm saying, it's obvious on itself, but it's important to remember these things, because I see every day people that approach pixel art and environment design and kind of make these sort of mistakes of making some places really interesting, then all the other places are just boring. It also happens in official and in mainstream and well-known games. For example, Final Fantasy games, which are great on a number of levels, and then you get some places which are not that interesting as well, because of course the development team has some schedule and has to convey more energies to some department more than others, so you get the experience which is undulating. I mean, it has lows and highs, and it's not really what I would like to convey with my environment art. I mean, everything has to be interesting. Of course, you will find the gardens more interesting because there's the pavilion and the mist and the monsters and the enigmas and all this kind of stuff. But also going inside a house, maybe this house which is meant to be in the snowy province. So it's cold outside, and you get inside, and you see the chimney, and you see the bed, and you see the little table with the how is it called? I mean, the cloth you put on the table.
Tablecloth.
Tablecloth. Yeah, I mean, just in order to not make a mess while eating. I mean, these little touches are just something that I find particularly compelling when I play, because I have to tell all of you that first and foremost, I am a video game player, so I know what I like which is also a Genesis quote, but I know what I like in a video game, and I like to bring that in my work as well. even more. I want to bring even more of what I like in video games, because sometimes I find myself not happy with what I play. So I just remember, okay, I didn't really like this thing, so let's just make my version of this thing and make it better, make what I would like. That's why before I spent so many words telling how much it is important for me the hack ROM culture and Coral's work and all these kinds of things. Because for me, fan arts and edits and these kinds of things are really important, because it's just, something that comes from inside. I want something beautiful. I want something more. I think this could be also better in my way, and it's not something you do out of, self-celebration. You just do this because you feel a passion for something you're doing. Okay, Jason, sorry, I literally had 1 hour of free talk, and people may also get bored by me just telling lots and lots of philosophy of environment design, but it's just part of my work, of my job.
Well, it speaks to your talent and passion that you can go on so long with that, and you're very humble, but you're incredibly talented. And I think I'd definitely like to put together a video with you later where I can let you speak at length, and we can post it as a standalone video to our YouTube, because you got a lot to share. And so what you bring to this project is just fantastic, and I'm glad you're part of it, and I know all our viewers feel the same.
Yeah, I am really, really happy to hear this, because it's not always obvious how your art may be appreciated or good by itself. So it's important to get feedback from people saying these things work, these things doesn't work, this interests me, because you also get to know the direction you are working is right. And I'm really, really happy to hear that, because we are not living on an island where no one else opinion matters. I do my work, I have my techniques, I have my culture, I have my years of experience, but that doesn't prevent me from literally discovering everything from what people actually do. Video games are interactive art, so someone tends to forget this. It's important to remember that video games are to be played, so please don't be a stranger and tell us what you think, tell us what emotions the game brings you. And it's not just some sort of motivational speech. It's just important because of work. It's work after all. It's pleasant, it's fun, and it's also work. So it's important to not being impervious to others people's beliefs and culture and approach to things. So it was important for me to speak with all of you, to speak to all of you. I realize I answered really few questions here and there, but well, of course I'm on Discord pretty much all the time. So just send me a private message, ask me. I can't spoil you anything because there's a no divulgation, of course, contract with Jason. But if you want some critiques or my input with what you're doing, I'm always down for that. It's what I really like about my job. I do art, I like video games, but I also like others people art, others people video games. So that's it. I'll shut up now.
Well, it's awesome that you shared all that. Like Alessandro said, he's around our Discord. You can ping him, you can shoot him a DM. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, I don't know if it's going to be next year, I don't know if it's going to be 10 years from now, but I think that there's going to be a point where a game is released that's a bit like a spiritual successor to like A Link to the Past. And this man is going to be behind the art of it. And it's going to come out and people are going to be like, holy fuck. This is the coolest shit I've ever seen. It's only a matter of time. He loves Link to the Past. He loves Zelda. he shines in it, is going to happen. I don't know when, but it will happen at some point, and it's going to take the world by storm.
Yeah, let's take the world by storm.
Oh, my mustache is coming off. You can't take the world by storm without your mustache on, correct?
Without your mustache. I'm not laggy on that point because I cannot really grow a mustache. I think I'll snatch yours next time.
Okay. Maybe I'll send it to you when I'm done. It'll be like a team mustache that we just send around. Like,
yeah. That would be a pleasant surprise. Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining us, Alessandro. We're going to get Eric's on here next and share a bit on his art.
Yeah, I'll be there in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, you're back to just me, folks. So I got to turn down this monster crown just a little. So, before we get Eric's on board, I'd just like to say that when we showed off Alessandro's interior tile sets, I think that was probably the weakest area of my work, the interior tile sets, and like there was no walls, and the placemats to leave the house weren't that good. And Alessandro's such a nice guy. He said in as nice terms as possible, I think, like, you know, we could really move these in the right direction and make it a lot better. And I know that what he was really saying, deep in his heart, he was saying, Jason, you don't know how to do the inside of houses. You fucked it up. Let me help you. And it shows, right? You've seen it now. It's going to be great. And also, there was a guy in the chat sent me, god damn, mustache hairs. Alright, Calciferborn sent his fan art of Pallet Town to cheer me up a little for having all my art replaced. So I'm just going to show this real quick. His fan art, and where is it? Why aren't you showing art? Well, yeah, I don't know what. Art. Show. Layer. Show layer. So this is great, and it definitely helps me a bit. Thank you so much for that, Calciferborn. It's beautiful, and it's really improved my spirits after Alessandro blew me out with his awesome art replacements. Thanks for your support, Quorum Knight. Glad that you're looking forward to the game. Alright, so let's see if we can get my bro Eric's on here. Eric's, I'm so sorry that you have been waiting, because your stuff is awesome as well. Hello? Hello. Okay, so I can hear you very low. I'm going to boost your volume. Let's see. Discord. Is it Discord or Firefox? Can you say test 1 2 3 4 5 6?
Test 1 2 3 4 5 6.
All right. Say it once more.
Test 1 2 3 4 5 6.
Okay, I can hear you now. Chat.
Okay.
Tell me, chat. Can you hear it? This guy. A little quiet. All right, we're gonna boost you a little bit more. If there's one thing that streaming has taught me is I don't know shit about audio. All right, test 1 2 3 4 5 6.
Test. No boots. Still quiet.
Alright, I'm gonna turn down the monster crown because it's kind of limiting us right now.
Okay.
Alright. Alright, try again.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
He's loud now, right, Gus? I know there's a bit of delay on the stream, so we'll give it a second. It says new messages, still quiet. Alright, HebeWiki's giving me tips again, but the new message icon won't disappear. Did you touch OBS? I didn't touch OBS because I only have 2 channels in OBS. Oh wait, I'm on mic, so I should be able to boost up desktop audio. Perhaps. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, my dude.
Test.
You can hear that now, right, guys? That's like, you can hear that perfect, right? It's perfect. Be quiet. Nope, still quiet. Alright, let me, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call you, not in Firefox, I'm gonna call you in the, Discord app. I think I can boost you a bit more now. You're still low right now, but I'm gonna whack you way up. Alright, try test.
Test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Now you guys can hear that now, right? Come on, that's so loud. Right? Right? Come on, chat. Please. Tell me.
Is it loud? Okay.
No, they're saying it's still quiet. I got my desktop audio boosted up. Maybe I'm gonna turn down my voice a bit. Test 1, 2, 3. I think my voice should be a little bit better now, so you guys can turn up your volumes a bit without me deafening you. Maybe I'll turn it down even a bit more. Alright, test 1, 2, 3, 4. Eric's your turn.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, my guys. Do you hear me now?
Alright, the audio levels I'm seeing are equivalent in OBS. Is your mic picking up his voice from your speakers? But I got headphones on, so
Dang.
that's slightly better. Alright, I'm gonna bust up that Discord one more time. Is this really just boosting it for me? You sounded pretty good before we went live.
Okay.
Webcam, mic, desktop audio. I'm boosting up the desktop audio. Do I have that muted? No. Desktop audio looks good. Okay. Give us the test 1, 2, 3 one more time.
Test 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Alright, what I'll do is I'll let you chat, and I think this is probably the best we're going to get, and when I edit the video before I put it up live, I'm going to go back and see if I can boost your levels a bit.
Oh wait, I could try with another mic.
If you have one, you can give it a shot,
Yeah.
yeah?
Give me a second.
Sure.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Sounds a bit louder to me. See what these guys say. Maybe do a test 1, 2, 3 just so they can hear you at regular volume.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Sounds the same.
Dang.
Alright, well, we can...
We can try Skype.
Alright, yeah, sure. If you want to try Skype, we can do that.
Okay.
Alright, so I will end the call, and you can send me your Skype name over Discord, and I'll get you added. Thank you. I do think that it is the peak of masculinity, and really virility. Rodask is not a starter, and it never will be. And I'd appreciate if you stopped asking, because I hate Rodask. Rodask is this close to getting just eliminated from the game. For those of you that don't know, HebeWiki is the one that wrecked me during the Kickstarter with Rodask, and will never let me live it down. He's a creepy... I'm a creepy uncle, used car salesman, 80s news reporter, weatherman, Ron Burgundy. And your gym teacher. Your gym teacher from high school. Let's try that one, Eric's. See if I can find you. I think that's you. I think that's you. Alright, he saw the message, so I'm going to kill Discord. And I'm going to give... Whew, that's loud.
Okay.
Okay, you sound like supernova loud to me, so it should be...
Great.
Let's, yeah, do a test 1, 2, 3 so they can tell us.
Test 1, 2, 3.
That's got to be good. That sounds so clear, so nice. I don't know why the Discord quality was so low, but...
No idea.
Okay, this is fine. Awesome.
Okay.
So, Eric's, you and Alessandro are both thank of why this game looks so good lately. Now, Alessandro handled the tile set, and he will be revamping a lot of the structure of certain places while I work on core development. And you have given us these beautiful monsters that people have been enjoying on the overworld, and you gave us these awesome NPCs, and I think we've got a lot of cool stuff to work on together in the future. So one thing I will say is there are certain kings you've worked on, and there is a certain monstrous character, so we won't discuss them, but I think everything else is on the table. So, first of all, how'd you get so good?
Well, actually I've been doing pixel art since I was 13. But yeah, I was doing it on and off up until I was 18. Didn't really get much better. I mean, beyond a reasonable level. And then around when I was 20, I started painting, and I really noticed how the technical level of art really translates well into pixel art. So yeah, then I sort of came back after I kind of got back into Pokemon and doing Pokemon stuff, and yeah, basically, how should I say it? It's more like the combined process of learning art from the ground up and growing up with pixel that basically got me where I am.
Wow. Well, your work quality is just amazing. So you don't have any formal training whatsoever in art?
No, I don't.
Wow. Way to make me feel like I'm a huge loser. You're supposed to say like, oh yeah, I got a master's in pixel art, so don't feel bad, Jason.
Yeah, I'm not really much of a classical artist, but I try to learn like the basics, and I feel like it got me further than I thought it would. It's basically like I didn't touch pixel art for like 4 years and came back to it and was surprised myself that it looked much better than before.
Yeah. It absolutely does. And when I first saw your art, I was like, okay, I got to meet this dude. I saw your gifts going around. I was like, I got to learn more about the guy behind this. And we spoke, and I said, is this a little bit inspired by like the Pokemon TCG, the Game Boy games? Is this inspired by Zelda? What is it? And you told me right away. I remember because it stuck with me. You said it's just kind of my own style. That's like a merge of what I wanted. And like, is there anything you'd say to describe or define your own style? Because I think it looks amazing. I just don't know what to call it. And to me, it looks very unique, but at the same time very nostalgic as well. It has its own identity, but like if you look at this player character right here, and I remember we had to come up with the player character, and you said, well, it's a trope, like it's a shonen JRPG trope. The character got to wear a hat. They got to have something on their head or goggles.
or goggles.
Yeah.
Or that, yeah.
And I was like, well, so it's like turn of the century. So you went and did some research and you came up with a few ideas, and it's given it this really distinctive look, but it also looks still so nostalgic and like it belongs in a 90s monster taming game. So yeah, do you want to share anything on your art style or how you personally see your work?
Yeah, basically, thing is, the way I grew up, I never really had any advanced hardware. I grew up with a Sega Genesis, and I was born in 1993. So, like, yeah, that was pretty much off the market. So I kind of grew up with pixel art games, like either like really old computer games or, as I said, like old Game Boy games, Genesis games. So yeah, I never really got to experience the 3D games. So I kind of just 2D style just stuck with me, and so one day I said, well, I'm gonna try to make my own 2D stuff, and I sort of just combined things that I thought looked interesting, and I'd say it was more like a process that went through, like, I'd say 4 years to like develop my own style. I'd say like the way I started was more like Super Nintendo style graphics, and in the middle somewhere I started doing like really Gen 1 Pokemon style graphics, and I kind of came out in the middle, I guess.
Gotcha.
So it's like a weird mix of like Final Fantasy 5, 6, and Game Boy games. Yeah.
And it looks awesome. Have you done?
I see the sunglasses comment. Yeah, I already did sunglasses.
Oh yes, yeah. Eric's has done a lot of accessories that you're going to see on the characters. We haven't shown them all yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanuka fucked me up big time. So, is there anything specific that you keep in mind when you work on Monster Crown compared to other projects?
I'd say, like, the only thing I really notice for myself is how absurdly difficult it is to animate larger monsters. Like, I really underestimated that.
Yeah.
But other than that, it doesn't really make much difference to me whether I'm animating a human, an object, or a monster. Whatever I do, I usually look at like references of how things move. Like if I want to animate a dog, I kind of look at, okay, what's the natural walk cycle of a dog? And of course, for some monsters that's impossible. Like if you have animals with 6 legs or something, it's gonna be a lot more difficult. But like then you gotta improvise and just like sort of combine things.
Yeah.
I think the most unique thing that I experienced when working on Monster Crown art is working on like creatures that are not the usual thing that I would like design. Like as I said, I would probably limit myself to animals that I can replicate. So it's sometimes kind of hard to like as I said, like 6-legged monsters.
Yeah. And early on when I designed a lot of these monsters, the first phase, I suppose the first draft of trying to design a lot of these, I didn't think it through as much as I do now, and a lot of times with redesigns about movement and locomotion and what's natural. I tried my best, but there's some there that I think must have been a real challenge to come up with a great style for or approach to how they move. You have to make so many assumptions about their biology and their musculature and that sort of thing. So I'm always impressed with the great work you do.
Thanks. But yeah, as I said, I think the challenge for me is mostly like working outside of human animations, because like that's the basis that I usually work on, I'd say. I mean, I do like idle animations for everything else, basically. I used to design battle systems for like random RPGs, and yeah, worked on the idle animations of basically everything. So, yeah.
Awesome.
I have worked on like bigger sprites before, but not in this capacity, I'd say, like not in complete four direction movement.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, you guys should definitely look up Eric's and follow the work he's been working on, because he's just incredible. And him and Alessandro make a great pair. They're both able to kind of get what the other one is doing and work within that style. And I didn't ask Alessandro this, so Alessandro, if you're still around, please type this in the chat. But, Eric's, you got to tell me, what is your favorite Halloween treat, whether it's like chips or bars or candy? And what's your favorite Halloween monster?
For treats, probably, like at the moment, it would be Kit Kats.
Cool. Kit Kat is good taste.
But it changes all the time.
So,
And,
are you a chunky man or a regular Kit Kat man?
a chunky man.
Oh,
I
okay.
like to chunk.
I went to the convenience store and I saw these huge Reese's cups. They're like 3 pounds or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for the Kit Kat. That is, the pieces are Kit Kat Chunkies. I'm waiting for that to hit the market. I want it. And I just feel like I'm not being heard by Kit Kat Co.
Like just huge, like bars of Kit
Yeah.
Kat. Like one, just one Kit Kat. That's just enormous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good taste. But I hope we get that chunky mega Kit Kat someday.
You can only pray, yeah.
I prepared all these lines, like someone was going to say, I played it out in my head before the stream. Like, okay, this is how it's going to go. Someone's going to come on, they're going to be like, I said, what's your favorite Halloween treat? And they're going to say Mars bar. And I was going to say, Mars bar? What about Laz bar? Or if they said, I love O. Henry, I would say O. Henry, more like O. Honey, and reference all the monsters in the game. And like everyone would think I was really charming. But I don't know any monsters that rhyme with Kit Kat. So you're not making this easy on me. But
I'm sorry. Damn.
And so,
Maybe
yeah, that monster.
Alessandro can help you. Yeah, I guess my favorite kind of monster is anything Eldritch horror. I'm really into Lovecraftian stuff, and yeah, it's kind of weird that I'm actually like recently mostly working with like happy, upbeat art styles, while my favorite genre is actually horror. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Lovecraft stuff, weird tentacle monsters and the like. I like to play the Cthulhu pen and papers, and so yeah,
Cool.
mostly that.
Cool. Well, I love everything you bring to Monster Crown, and people are going to see a lot more from you in the future. Thanks so much for being part of this, and I'm really glad that you could be here today for the Hallowstream.
Thanks for letting me be part of this, my boy.
So, no problem, my man.
And also, yeehaw to all the ROM hackers out there.
Yeah. I mean, modders can make some of the best games. I keep messing up my mustache trying to fix it. But like modders, and I hope that people, I'd be honored someday if someone wants to mod Monster Crown, but modders bring so much passion, so much nostalgia, the stuff you and Alessandro touched on. It's like, I hope one day that legally, we can come to a point where we have a better environment for modders. Because there's some companies that are cool with modding and some that aren't. But I always respect the modders because they bring so much passion to it, and they're not in it for monetary gain. They're just doing what they do best and what they want to do and making their dreams come true. So I respect that.
Yeah, and games like Sonic Mania, basically, I mean, they came out of the modding community. They just took those people in because they finally noticed. I think it's just a matter of time before people start to accept it. Like we already had Street Fighter, what was it, the Street Fighter Mega Man game. That was also I think it was a mod before it became an official thing.
Street Fighter is one thing that I don't keep up on, but I should.
Yeah, no, it's a Mega Man game, but the bosses are Street Fighter characters.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Were you ever into Mugen? I don't know how.
Yeah, I not much in the technical field. I did used to edit the sprites and stuff for fun. But that's like really, really long ago. I can barely remember. Nothing good ever came out of that, I assure you.
Yeah, I didn't play with it as long as I could have to get a real grasp for it, but I remember just trying to install 2-3 characters, and I was already running into issues, and I'm like, this can't be this hard. They let me program at work, so I guess I'm okay at computers, but I could not get Mugen to work, and maybe I should just spend more time at it. But
yeah, but I think designing fighting games is like a whole other thing. There's so many factors you got to factor in, think about stuff, balancing issues and everything. So, yeah, it was never much of a thing for me, I guess. More into RPGs.
So, what games are you looking forward to?
In general?
Say this fall or in the near future. What are some big releases on your radar?
Well, Cyberpunk and Outer Worlds, as soon as I can get it. As I said, I'm basically an old school RPG boy. I like the pen and papers, CRPGs. Fallout 2 is one of my favorite games, and of course the old school JRPGs. But I have to say, in the last couple of years, there hasn't been too much that I've been keeping up with, except for re-releases and remakes, Dragon Quest remakes. I have to check out the new Dragon Quest game as well. Yeah.
Do you have a Switch?
Yeah, I have a Switch.
Cool. Yeah, I hear it's fantastic on it. I haven't had much time to play new games in a long time because I feel bad about playing any games when I could be working on Monster Crown. But
yeah, I know that feeling.
yeah, it's I'm sure Coral Dev gets what we mean. But yeah, there's a lot of games I want to catch up on. I've let myself play Breath of the Wild and Devil May Cry 5. Those are the 2 games I've played since I began work on this. And those were both great games. I think I like Devil May Cry 5 more than Breath of the Wild, but I don't know if that's considered heresy to say, but that's just me.
Well, if you're on heresy, I was never really interested in Breath of the Wild because it seemed, I don't know, it seemed to combine Zelda, the first Zelda, with Skyrim, and I'm not really a fan of Skyrim.
No.
And if they just, I don't know, if they just made the first Zelda as it is, not point to point, but a real, how should I say it, a redesign. I think it would have worked better than this thing with a crafting system and all these weird knickknacks.
Gotcha. Oh, this is what I was looking for, Glotovi. See what we got from the chat. What is Dev even trying to do? Well, I'm trying to show you guys the Book of the Dead transformations, and the next guy up is Glotovi. So this is what and I was gathering Book of the Dead. Yeah, you're right, Inky Expert. I got so lost in doing this conversation with you that I forgot about the questions coming in here just for a minute. Flowering Province Wild Appo. Nope. Not sure what you saw, but yes, there was honeys. Kit Kat is pretty good. Ew, Kit Kats. My God, that's the worst taste I've seen since someone said they liked Rodesk. Eric's like some chunky.
Yes.
Our Topsy's variant's going to get a touch-up at some point. Yeah, so Topsy is way back. We had the design contest. Shad won. Topsy was design. He contributed. Back then, the monster variations were only sprite edits, and Shad just kind of stuck along with that, but then started to step out towards making more unique forms, and that's the vibe we ended up going with. So yeah, Topsy's variants that are just sprite edits, they will be updated. And there's one really cool monster that was going to be a Topsy variant that I said to Shad, no, that has to be its own monster. And I can't wait to show that off someday. Baby Charmander sent me a picture on the Hershey's website. This better be a Mega Kit Kat. It's a Kit Kat Big Cat. I don't know. I think that's some sort of segment. It's 210 calories. Come on. The Kit Kat I'm looking for is like at least 1,000 calories.
Damn, I can't open it. I need to see. Doesn't work.
Oh man, that's too bad. It's a bit of a letdown compared to the real deal we're after though.
Okay.
1,000 calorie. I'm going to eat Jason for Halloween. What a picture of a knife. Ooh. You better.
Big Mac sized Kit Kats.
Maybe you came to the wrong stream, Eric. If there's going to be people giving death threats to the people on this stream. All right, let's tame this guy because we got a Book of the Dead. This.
Yikes.
All right, Glatovia accepted. Man, I can't believe we're this far into the stream. We've only gotten to our second of 4 reveals. Book of the Dead. But we got 3 Book of the Deads built up. I found them in the wild. So we shouldn't run into any long stretches where we're trying to grind for them. The monster is undergoing a terrible transformation. Oh yeah. Here he is. He's the master. He's the egg master. And some of you guessed it, and he changes quite a bit, like his head shape and stuff like that. So I was really impressed that people guessed it, but you could kind of see the eggs. So I guess I get where people are coming from. Now, all these monsters in here have got new overworld sprites thanks to you, Eric's. So I'm going to show off Glatovi's here. I love Glatovi. It's just so charming. This little guy you made. It's so much better than my old Glatovi sprite. Be honest, Eric's. When you saw my old overworld sprites, did any make you just say, wow, this is bad?
Whew.
He goes, whew, yeah, let me deconstruct this one.
Most of them were kind of fine for what they were trying to represent. Like, in a basic sense.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't, like, outright dismiss them.
Okay, well, that's very nice of you. You're a nice guy. You know that? You are. What they say about you isn't true.
What do you mean?
I'm just joking. It's just a funny thing to say to people, you know? Like, what? You know, they're not right about you. You're actually a good guy.
That's really spooky.
Oh, I still got a monster alive? Oh, I do. I thought my Stego was dead. Oh, I healed up. That's right. We killed Bifra. And our monsters are moving up in levels. So, we got to find the last monster. We got to toss that error there that we're going to have to fix up. Alright, guards won't let us in, but we've already been in there. That's old news. Alright, the next monster that we're going to show is... Oh, okay. The last 2 are a big deal, if you ask me. They're very, very powerful transformations for monsters that are already quite powerful. I don't think I heard from Alessandro's I don't think I heard Alessandro's choices. If I missed that, Alessandro, because chat is kind of taken off, just post them again for me, because I don't know what it is. I love to hear people's choice of things like donuts or cakes, or maybe just like I was always really overweight growing up, and I guess inside I haven't changed. I'm still very hungry.
You still have 1,000 calories, Kit Kat man.
Yes, deep down I still am.
Well, what's your favorite Halloween monster?
Oh, that's very kind of you to ask. You know, when I think of the Halloween monsters, stuff like vampires, witches, werewolves, the design that sticks out to me is the Vampire Lord from Yu-Gi-Oh! That's not really that's not really a Halloween monster, but like that's like my favorite design of those style monsters. And I ran a zombie deck back in the day, so it just sticks out to me.
I also used it in my main deck, actually.
Oh yeah, you had a zombie deck too, or you just used it because it was pretty strong?
It was before zombie decks were a thing. I know I had 2 Vampire Lords main deck. It was like way long ago. Like I think it was just when GX started.
Because Vampire Lord could what is it? It could bring stuff back from the grave, right?
No, he can revive himself.
Oh, himself, yes, gotcha.
Yeah, if he dies other than by battle, then he comes back next turn.
Man, what a sick monster.
Yeah, the whole Vampire Lord thing was always very interesting to me, especially when I found out that basically the language barrier of the original Bram Stoker's Dracula made the Japanese make their own version, basically, which was much more... Like in later iterations, it was much more the way you know Japanese vampires nowadays, like this master swirling guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So basically, their perception of Dracula is a bit different than ours, and I think that's like what gave rise to this things like Vampire Lord, basically.
Gotcha. Very cool design, and its haircut though at the time. And the era it was released in? Like, how old are you?
Wow. Oh. How old was I?
Or no, how old are you now? You're...
I'm 26.
Right, so you're a couple of years younger than me. But at the time, like, I was super into, like, My Chemical Romance and other such emo music.
Oh, yeah.
So the design of him kind of reminded me of that sort of vibe where they had this, like, vampire soldier aesthetic in all those music videos. So now I'm really dating myself back to the cringe era. Appropriately, the cringe era.
I mean, musically, like the first couple My Chemical Romance albums weren't that bad. Like the style was very fucking emo, but
yeah,
from a musical standpoint, it's fine. I think.
Yeah,
it's not like Evanescence.
Their best stuff did get like I guess musical accolades, like good reviews for I guess being technically good and from a songwriting perspective, at least it had some merit. Not that they were the best band or anything, but just that it had some merit. Alright, so I did get an answer from Alessandro.
Oh, yeah.
Snickers, because I love caramel and chocolate together. Also good taste. As for monsters, I like all the Magic Golem various stuff. Holy things. Okay. Magic Golem would be an interesting Halloween choice. I'd like to see someone dressed up as that.
Like, is that Semitic appropriation? That's the question.
I'm not even gonna touch anything with the word appropriation on it, on anything, because I'm scared of the internet either way. I'm not even gonna think of anything. I'm just gonna I can't go on that one. You get into a sort of position too where these days it's like, no matter what you say about anything, you could piss someone off, and it's just like I don't know. I'm underinformed about politics and the state affairs of the world, so I just kind of try to keep my mouth shut and not think about anything besides monsters.
Did you sometimes like wonder that maybe you could make your game more inclusive?
Well, I'll tell you, way back. You could originally just choose if you're a boy or a girl, and and you were just a boy character, actually, originally. And you couldn't choose your skin tone, and you couldn't choose your pronouns. And anyway, Shad was telling me that they had a friend, I think, that had a different pronoun than their appearance, I guess, would indicate. And so I said, well, that's a simple feature for me to add. Just let people choose a pronoun. And at the end of the day, I don't really care what pronoun people want to use. So I added that, and it seemed like there was a group of people that really appreciated. Now, there's people that gave me flack for it, too. Some people made fun of me on 4chan, but whatever. And when I added the skin color choice, someone on Twitter said that really made them feel like they could be themselves in the game and insert more. And, like, I hadn't even thought of that. But I guess I took it for granted. But the fact that they could feel so much more at home at the game because of that, it was just like, okay, why didn't I do this all along? Why didn't I think ahead and think of that? So at the end of the day, I'm glad those options are there. But did you have any suggestions?
No, I was just wondering because like last time I tried to like design a big RPG, I always like wondered what would be fine for like the current situation, like if we're talking diversity or something, like if I mean it's a kind of a moot point, but like I wouldn't traditionally think about these things if it wasn't like for the internet, I guess.
Yeah, like to me it was just like, okay, I'm making a Monster Taming game, those are usually young boys. I just added it and kind of just stuck with what had been comfortable to me and didn't think any further, but I'm really glad people brought it up to me. I'm really glad people brought it up. Yeah, so there's some people in the comments saying that they appreciate it, which is great. If that makes them feel more comfortable, then it's absolutely a plus for me. Raptor's a big boy. Raptor is gigantic. 4chan needs to die like not exist, or needs to like not exist. I have like a interesting perspective of 4chan, I suppose. For years I would wander on 4chan and read things people said, and there was people like Eric's that were really passionate and dedicated and would post things like long drawn out thoughts and essays about things, and you had to filter through a lot of stuff you might not want to see to get to those things. But those people that thought really deeply for hours and hours about something as like Pokemon, to get to those people and read the amazing things that they thought up and had to say and the cool ideas, I had to go to those places. So it was always worth the hunt to get to those treasures. And that's why I always loved going to 4chan, to find those people that were truly passionate, that didn't have a good place to say things, and didn't really want to be famous. They just wanted to share their genuine thoughts and genuine discussion. So those type of people, I'll always really appreciate who they are, what they bring to the table. So for that matter, I do keep visiting 4chan to see those people. But I totally get what you mean of the overall idea of 4chan, and it does seem to get increasingly like that as time goes by.
Yeah, I think it's more like a thing of perspective. Like, when people think of things like 4chan, they of course think of the worst, most vile places. But like, if you go on the Pokemon forum, on traditional gaming, even video game generals, like it's just like any other forum, just a bit less moderated.
Yeah. Yeah, like most sites, there's going to be good and bad people, and the ratios might be different, and I'm not defending the ratios, but I always feel like those good people are worth the search for me, because I guess it doesn't affect me a lot to be on sites like that, but if sites like that are very offensive to you and exhausting for you to be on, you know, if I felt like that, I wouldn't be there either.
Yeah.
Calciferborn is the goodest person of all. And you know what? I wouldn't argue. I would say that's probably pretty apt.
Yeah, it's true, actually. I can attest to it.
Alright, so we're getting down to the last two Book of the Dead transformations. Keep this thing steamrolling.
Yeah, I noticed that the flying animation for the Stormcliff boy, that still needs to be done, right?
Yeah, so the thing is with Storklift, and I haven't even spoke to you about that because I've been trying to find time to do it, is that you made this excellent Storklift graphic. And it was a bit smaller than I imagined Storklift because I didn't give you good instructions of how big Storklift was. Because Storklift's supposed to be able to carry all these monsters to and from the farm. So I resized your sprite a bit just to get it to work, to get past the build I had to get out, that sort of thing. But I was meant to circle back on it that your Storklift sprite is incredible. I just need it a little bit bigger, so that's why it still shows the fly animation. But that's totally on me because I didn't even tell you that till now because your sprite work is fantastic and I definitely want to go with it, but you weren't given enough information there, and that's totally on me. Let's see. Alright, so now that we've caught a raptor, let's check out yet another Book of the Dead transformation. On Raptor. Alright, let's see if we got any questions before I dig in here. I heard you got a temp ban for supporting mod. Yeah, I got a temp ban. I think you should be able to discuss all the monster games on VP. I mean, they can discuss Town. It's pretty off topic. I mean, same developer, yes, but to me, monster taming games are more on topic than talking about Town. I don't really participate much on there. I only take a quick peruse, especially since I've been tied up with development, but I did say, yeah, I hope it becomes a general monster taming board, because you guys know I love monster taming games, and I got banned temporarily. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
Why?
I think it said responding to off-topic bullshit. I think that's what it said. Can we get a DLC for a path that is between evil and good, like a yin and yang story path? If you play the good path and the bad path and still want that, let me know and I'll think it over, because I know it sounds extreme. Like, people say, well, you can only choose to be super evil or super good in games, and there's not nuanced choices. But I think by the end you'll understand why I wanted to make a super good and super bad path. If at the end of that everyone's still saying, you know, it's not satisfying or whatever, then maybe I'll look at it. But to me, the bad path and good path are so satisfying right now. I think you guys are going to like them. I hope you do anyway. The radical centrist path. Based on what I have heard, the dark path's already like that, but you can choose stop being bad. Masada post in general. Alright, so we're transforming Raptor with the Book of the Dead transformation item. Now this, if I told you to hide your kids before, because this is scary, it's about to get much worse. This is the second last of the Book of the Dead transformations. Oh yeah. The monster is radically transformed. His power is immense. So this here is Book of the Dead Raptor. Now, we'll quickly reveal the final Book of the Dead transformation. Now this is for a monster that you probably didn't expect, but we're going to access the box system, which is still being worked on. It does the job, but it's a little rough. I swear to God, every time I breathe, I'm taking in mustache fumes.
That can't be healthy.
It can't be healthy. I should have just grew a real mustache.
Yeah.
Alright, who do we got here in the box system? It is Trove. So let's replace boring Primagon with Trove. Trove. There he is, Trove. Now, I think that this is one of the ones you were talking about was a challenge, right, Eric's?
Yeah, I still have to finish parts of him because I kind of got stuck in the middle.
For those of you watching... Oh, sorry?
I think it's like I keep thinking I should make him longer on the side, but the thing is, like, you can't accommodate for that in a like a when you turn, then he would clip through walls.
Yeah.
So like that's the big challenge for me.
I do like what you have so far, because if you look at this guy, he's huge, and the arms he has on the side, he doesn't use for moving much, but he can lift them to the side to glide a little bit, because his body's like a snake, and he can swim through the ground like a land shark, and that is not easy to pull off in 4 frames of animation. But Eric's has done a pretty good job of making it so it's like it's swimming through the ground, which I think is a great start and great way to do it, and great way to show that he's bigger and he's under the ground and has a lot of size without it dominating the entire screen and breaking, layers, that sort of thing. So we're going to see the final Book of the Dead transformation. Now this, to me, is my favorite Book of the Dead transformation, because I think the sprite work turned out great and it is very spooky, and I am really proud of the design. So we're going to see Trove transform right now. You guys ready for Trove? Big dirt monster. I want someone to tell me I'm ready, because I'm not taking responsibility if you're not ready for this and you get shocked into a spook coma. Yeah, okay. They're ready. Yeah. I love this one so much. I love this one so much. And they're not joking when they say his power is immense, because Trove is already so strong, and this is a boost to his strength and his magical power. And, I'm not sure what's going on with his jaw. It's like his jaw began to evolve into a bigger... But while he has his existing jaw as well, it gives him this creepy smile. And, like his claws. I just really am happy with the way he turned out. Alright. So I got one last little surprise for the stream. As you can see, we caught a Dragosbane earlier. We're going to put him at the head of the party. And we're going to breed him with a monster from the starting area. So guys, tell me what monster to tame from the starting area. And we will breed it with Dragosbane, and we will see one of his forms here today. Oh, some of you guys were saying that the path was too slow to move around because it wandered. You grind a bit on the way through the first time to make sure you're up in levels, but later when you come back, there's these little... the animation's not done yet, but you can hop over the fence. Laz. Alright, well, it looks like it's Laz. We're going to see the unstable variation. And Eric's, you did a fantastic job. Laz, as you know, is like the mascot. And his little overworld sprite is just so cute and looks so good to me. I wish I could zoom in a bit, but I just love the way he looks. You did an excellent job of capturing him. Look at that Rodass coming there. I bet that sicko Rachel wants me to catch Rodass, but it's not happening. We're going to glitch our way in here again. Right now that's closed off for the beta. So we're using hacks. Alright, breed. We're setting our primary. We're setting it to... Come on. We're setting it to Dragosbane. And we're setting our secondary to Laz. And we're going to breed. See what people are saying on the stream. Gaio comes back from the dead. That's true. Good combination. Very on topic. Yep, Laz's name did come from Lazarus. I always feel so clever when people say, wait, is Laz from Lazarus? Because it's like a aha moment to them, and I feel like, man, I'm so smart.
Nice. I always like when there's references to mythology and popular stories, archetypes and such, and in the naming conventions of monsters. It's like my favorite part, actually. Like trying to decode everything.
Alright, so we got an egg. So we're going to wait for this egg to be ready to hatch. Why are we showing off Chuck? Chuck doesn't have Eric's new sprite yet. We're going to use one of the ones he's finished.
Oh. Wait, didn't he have it before?
I think you might have completed it, but it might be part of the last batch. That
yeah, it was the last.
Yeah, I gotta pay for that last batch. I didn't want to use them until I did, just to be fair. The parent monsters are still in the farm. You can get them back out, but this is our final surprise for the stream, so we're just going to wait for the egg to be ready to hatch.
I sort of have this compulsion to see you ride a Taurus in a circle for an hour. Just Pokemon things.
As soon as I see an egg, the bike music starts playing in my brain.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that egg is hatching up there. Well, it's shaking. Look at these secret sprites. They're so cute and perfect. I love them. Alright, I gotta grab this tamer pack before I let it hatch, just because I'm dying to know what's in it. 20 gold.
Shaking egg is pretty spooky.
Yeah, we got over $400 this stream from tamer packs. Did Jason kill a brilliant yet? No brilliance yet. But you're gonna see the final surprise of the stream. We're looking at unstable Laz crossbred with our bro Dragosbane. The monster egg is shaking. What are we gonna name it? It's a bit dark here now, but we'll go into the info screen once we give it a name. Lazobane. Lazobane. Another of her children walk the earth. Yes. Yep. That's what it says. And that's about as thorough as I'd like to be on that subject at this point. Who is her? Who knows? Well, I know. Eric's knows. You guys will get to find out. So you can see right here that you got this little crown. This crown icon has been added to show how many generations from the wild this monster has been bred. And there's certain points in the game where you have to breed a third or fourth generation monster to proceed to kind of introduce you to the breeding system. Alright, let's check this guy out. So yeah, this sprite was created by Shad. Shad created Dragosbane, and I'm not sure if Shad's tuned in, but Shad is in Japan right now. But another example of Shad's fantastic sprite work. And I can't wait for you guys to see all the rest in the game. Why are the colors still Dragosbane? That's a good question. Maybe I have a custom gene set. It would take Laz's colors, but I have been testing a lot with the save, so I may have had a custom gene set. But that is the unstable variant of Dragosbane. So while the custom gene I had may have altered the color inherited, that is the look of the monster you would get with these two crossbred. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for joining our live stream. I'm going to switch out... Oh, we got a quick switch menu now too, that's kind of useful for people. Switch out to Trove, so you guys can see that spread again, because I'm kind of proud of it. And I do have a video from Junie. She was going to be here tonight, but it's very late where she is in the Netherlands, and so she prepared a video. So I haven't streamed out a video before, but I'm about to do that. So Eric's, I think I'll have to let you go because there's some audio on that in a message from Junie. So thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for bringing this to Monster Crown. I know these guys love you. I love you. Thanks for being part
Thanks.
of this.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure we'll see a lot more content from you in the future.
Yes.
I hope you have a good night.
Good night, and good night, everyone. Have fun.
All right, let's see. We got a video to share. Can OBS share videos? That is a good question. Media source? I think what I'll do is I'll load it up in the player, and then I'll share that window. It's downloading. It's not a big download. Window share. Yeah, Junie's not coming with her bag of names this time. It's something a bit different. She dressed up in... She's going to make my costume look shameful. Because she really went the extra mile with this and dressed up as a character from Monster Crown and is going to reveal a little of that player's or that character's character to you guys. So the lines you're about to hear are from the game, and I know it's too bad Junie couldn't be here, but this video is she's definitely here in spirit. Maybe I can capture the whole desktop for just a minute. I could have swore there was a window, video capture, desktop capture, display capture. There you go. That didn't work either. I'm trying to download this from Skype and I keep getting 0 bytes. 0 kilobytes. Man, Skype's not very good at this. And I really want to share this one, because Junie put a lot of effort into it. Okay, it's saying downloading now. See what's happening in chat. I hear background noise. It has to be Beth. If not, I'll be surprised. Does she have a fabulous mustache? No. She doesn't. She's not that cool. Beth. She actually grew a nice mustache, unlike that. How dare you say that to me? How dare you challenge my masculinity? Downloading. Come on, it's only a 9.8 megabyte file. Come on, guys. Come on, Microsoft. Alright, well, I'll give that a second, and I'm gonna wreck this Primagon with a completely overpowered monster. Yeah, that's the thing that happened. Let's try out our newborn. Oh, pretty weak. It's not saying downloading anymore. Let's see. Test. Oh, I think it actually downloaded. Okay, now we're cooking with fire. Alright. Cooking with oil. Cooking with gas. Something like that.
The hour draws near. You despicable creatures who think you can save the world with little more than a smile, and joy in your hearts will know the truth. There is only pain. There is only pain and only power. And now, after so long and after so much pain, it is mine.
I'm not sure if you guys could hear that one. Alright, cool. I'm glad you could hear it. Excellent. So, you'll have to at Junie on Twitter and say, you should play Beth in the live-action adaptation of Monster Crown, which I expect to happen. I think we'll go card game, then anime, then manga, then open-world MMORPG, and then we'll do the live-action movie. We'll call it Detective Laz, and she'll be Beth. So, thank you guys so much for joining us on this live stream. I hope you had fun. Stuff about pain and power. That's Beth in a nutshell. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you enjoyed the monster reveals. I hope you thought that some of the Book of the Dead transformations were pretty cool. And I hope you enjoyed just the roam around Crown Island while hearing from the best in the biz, the best at their craft, Eric's and Alessandro. Two inspiring dudes. If you're an artist out there like them and you're looking to get started and maybe you're not brave enough, because I'm not a great example of someone that has achieved a lot in art, but the bravery to try to make a sprite is what led to Monster Crown. And it seems like the bravery to try to make a sprite is what led Alessandro and Eric's to the amazing work they produce these days. So if you want to try something, whether it's an instrument or anything, just give it a shot. I know it's hard to try, and you're probably going to really suck and hate what you do, but one of these times you might just make something and say, that's not absolutely horrible, and then you got a starting point. So, and worst case, you'll end up with tile sets that are like mine. But maybe you'll find something else that makes you even happier along the way. Alright, thanks guys for the stream. Thanks to everyone that tuned in. Like, our viewership numbers stayed really steady during the whole stream. So you guys stuck around. You showed us your support. Thanks so much. And all of you that backed us on Kickstarter, thank you so much. And look forward to the closed beta real soon, where you'll be running around finding Books of the Dead on your system. Except the Book of the Dead won't be there, but you'll be finding atomic clocks and supergirls. So, and I hope you guys all have an excellent Halloween and you've appreciated my costume. And I have to reveal after all this time, it's not a used car salesman. It's actually me, devoted to neurosis. So, yeah, you're probably just as surprised as I am. So, yeah, hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And this video will be up on YouTube in the near future.